I would like live and die by the art that I make. And I feel so passionately about that because I've done things in the past where I haven't felt that way. My whole life and my existence is so tied to the work that I do, possibly in a kind of unhealthy way. For me, it's like art at all costs. The albums that I make are inherently connected because the next record that comes after the previous one is like a response to it.
Yeah, you are the greatest marketer who has ever lived. No one else but you could get those three people in a room to take a picture.
I was sort of shocked that even I managed to do that. And it was down to the fucking wire. We can go into that if you want. I really don't mind.
The one day I woke up to 43 DM notifications from Charli XCX, including but not limited to screenshots of text conversations going back to 2023.
You don't always kind of say the most like concise, perfect sentence like I'm doing right now because I'm so nervous.
Oh my God.
I haven't been doing a lot of press, so it's like I'm really like
Charli XCX, welcome to Nicky at Night.
Hi, Nicky at Night.
This is a moment I have been waiting years of my life for.
Oh God, that's so sweet.
And I am just so like, you are the total opposite of an overnight success story.
Yeah.
And you stand for like being true to yourself and not compromising your vision or your artistry. And like to watch all of what's happened to you in the past 2 years, I think is just like been one of the greatest joys of my life lately.
Oh gosh, that's really sweet. Thank you.
Of course. I mean, I would love to just like start with like questions about like your approach to artistry and like the creative process as a whole.
Yeah.
Like you talk so much about like world building and persona and campaigns in a way that no other artist does.
Right.
How is like describe your approach to like persona and world building?
Well, it's interesting. Like, I think I've always thought of music as this very kind of 360 thing, particularly pop stars and large kind of campaigns, I suppose. You know, I've always really been engaged in music, but actually I feel like more so the other things that come along with it. And I think when I really kind of started working with A.G. Cook, who I've worked with now, gosh, since probably like 2015, maybe, 2015. Like that has been a language that we've really, really shared together and have really kind of, that's both of our sort of like, I don't know, we get really excited about that. And we really love to kind of think about that like from the jump when we're making anything. It's equally as important. And actually, for me at least, when I'm making music, it really informs the direction that the music takes, thinking alongside, and even sometimes before I'm even making music, like the way I want to present it.
Interesting.
It kind of shapes the music that I'm making because it provides this sort of like set of boundaries in which I create.
Yeah.
And that can really help the direction of the music itself.
Yeah, like fill in the lines almost.
Yeah, because I think when you're creating within this sort of set of rules, let's call it, you can get really potent with the decisions that you're making.
Totally.
Whereas if you're sort of creating in this like super, super, super broad landscape, you can find really cool things, of course, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of get to hone into a more distinct vision when you put a few little, like boundaries within it. So, okay, for example, when I was making Brat, it became really clear quite early on what was Brat versus what wasn't. And that really helped, especially like lyrically, being able to kind of really like focus in on stories or lyrical content that specifically felt brat versus not. So like being very directional, lyrics that felt like a conversation, not being overly descriptive, being pretty blunt. Those were all things that really kind of were helpful in like guiding the songwriting, but also, you know, that was really early reflected in everything else that I was doing alongside that, like the tweets or the
360 brat.
Exactly. Or like even, you know, when it came down to like font design and things like that, it's like doing something that was like very, very simple and very kind of like forward, almost confrontational.
Like a little off.
Yeah, a little off, like pixelated. So it kind of looked like a mistake in a way, in the way that when you're having a conversation, you don't always kind of say the most like concise, perfect sentence like I'm doing right now because I'm so nervous.
Oh my God, you have nothing to be nervous about.
I haven't been doing a lot of press, so it's like I'm really like
no, but, it's we all are eager to like explore your mind, you know, you are the greatest marketer who has ever lived. I truly believe like the way that you see culture and so clearly understand where it's moving and have this like you're like deliberately counterculture. You know what I mean? Like I think it's like one of your greatest strengths to like identify what is so typical of a pop star and to intentionally go the opposite direction. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like, I'm always responding in ways to things that I have done in the past. Like, you know, I think the albums that I make are inherently connected because the next record that comes after the previous one is like a response to it. Yeah. So when I'm thinking about music, fashion, film in ways it is polar opposite to Brat. Yeah. Because Brat was so, it was very blunt. It was very off the cuff. Yeah. It was having these conversational songs and sort of talking about like living on the internet and the way that affects me as a person and things like that. Whereas like music, fashion, film is much more me talking more in depth about my process and the way that I think about the way my life kind of changed during Brat.
Totally. And you're a completely different person than when you had to write Brat versus when writing this.
Absolutely. And, you know, everything that happened during Brat has been so influential to the songs that I'm writing for music, fashion, film. Yeah. How could it not be? You know, it's like I went through an experience that I had not gone through before, in that, you know, my work was kind of opened up to this whole new audience who perhaps didn't really know like my history as an artist, which is totally fine. You know, that happens, and I'm so grateful that did happen. Yeah. But with that, you know, comes this sort of like, I don't know, like people obviously really associate me with that album and all the things that came with that album. And in a way they kind of, it becomes these sort of like cartoonish personality traits, you know? Like the kind of like girl who loves the color green and like smokes cigs and like wears sunglasses. Like, it's like, like, you know, and like, yes, that is a huge part of who I am. It's also just a fraction of who I am. Right. And I think that's the thing that I find really interesting about being an artist, particularly in this day and age. It's like, I think people are really excited to understand you, which is awesome. But then I think once people feel that they do understand you, there is this hesitancy to then be willing to understand like a different facet of somebody's personality. And I think sometimes people feel that perhaps that's, I don't know, like not as real or something. Yeah. But it's like, you know, humans are complex. Yeah. It's like...
And that's always what I've loved about your artistry. Like, I feel like you are simultaneously the symbol of like anarchy and intellectualism. Do you know what I mean? Like, you are like talking, you have songs about generational trauma, the loss of your best friend, how my thoughts on motherhood, into like 365 party girl. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, there's so many people who are one or the other. Right. There's very rarely this ability to put both into one body of work in a way that makes sense.
Right.
And I think that's your genius.
It's funny that you talk about the kind of two sides to my work. It's like, I feel like both really intersect because for me, you know, party music and pop music in general, it's like very, it's very sacred and serious.
Yeah, I very much agree. That's what this entire show is dedicated to, making people understand.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's also really silly and fun.
Yeah.
And like those things can coexist.
Totally.
And I think there's this thing that still happens right now where if something is deemed as fun, I think people sometimes have a problem also understanding that as like being serious.
Yeah. And having meaning still.
Yeah.
Like something can be fun, but also speaking to a deep like experience of your soul.
Yeah. And I think that is like a big thing about me as an artist. It's like, I think the people who really get that really appreciate that. And I think the people who don't kind of really have a problem with it and like think I'm really stupid or something. And that's cool. That's like fine. That's, you know,
but that's like, there's always going to be people who only listen to things on the surface. And I also think in general that like not a lot of people also like think about pop music to the extent that like you or I or any artist would. You know what I mean? Like we see like the choices they made and the directions, even this idea of a persona, like that is like something that's so interesting, like taking these pieces of yourself and intentionally like hyperbolizing them until it's almost like a satire of this thing that you already did, right? Like in the rock music video, you smoking a cigarette in front of a mountain of cigarettes is like very that, you know, it's playing with the perception, you know, people have of you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And we had so much fun making that video and that song. And I think obviously like, I think some people were really sort of adamant that I was being, I don't know, like really ironic and sort of like snobby with that song or something, which is so funny because that's such a classic kind of, that's like the conversation that was really happening around like Vroom Vroom and a lot of the early PC music stuff. It's a conversation we're so familiar with. Like, I remember when PC music kind of first was sort of like being discussed in this way and sort of like early like 2014, maybe even a little before that, 2015, and people were like, oh, they think they're so clever, like like it's all a big joke. And it's like, actually no, it's not. It's like actually really, it's music made by really like human people, but having a lot of fun, and it's still unbelievably meaningful to them. But it's just a different approach that at that time in particular was like not very familiar. Yeah.
What about Vroom Vroom do you feel like people didn't understand?
I think the music I had made before was really, really different. Yeah. You know, it was very, I think Vroom Vroom came out after Sucker. And so sonically it was like a big jump. Right. But I think what's funny is when you listen to my early demos from like when I was 14, I was singing songs. I had this song called Dinosaur Sex and it went T-Rex, dinosaur sex, watch me roar, watch me be like a dinosaur. I mean, not my best, but I was like hopping around on stage, like, pretending to be a T-Rex. I don't know where my head was at with that, but I was like making these like silly kind of almost like nursery rhyme type songs. And I was just like making them in my bedroom at home. And I was really kind of like trying to find someone or a group of people who could kind of understand what I was doing there, which was making these really like lo-fi, like kind of sort of very like minimal club tracks that had some like humor, but also like a kind of pop tone to them. And I really couldn't find anybody for a really long time who sort of understood what I was trying to do, because I think everybody who I was coming across sort of thought it was like a joke or like something. And like, yes, those lyrics in particular were. But, you know, when I met Sophie for the first time and when I first came across Hannah Diamond's song Pink and Blue, which I discovered on like a Young Lean forum, I think. I think he was posting about it. I love that. He was posting about it. I was like, let me check this out. And I loved it. And then I kind of was messaging Hannah, and then I met Alex AG at my friend's like art magazine party at the ICA in London, and he was DJing and I was DJing, and like, I don't know, I was like, you get me. Yeah. And then we sort of got to know each other a lot, and Sophie and I kind of simultaneously, actually a little bit earlier, we were getting to know each other. And I just realized like, oh, actually like this group of people really understand this thing that I'm trying to do. Yeah. And the first song that I made with Sophie was Vroom Vroom. And it was like pretty crazy actually. Yeah. Like we had gone to, sorry, by the way, I'm just like talking.
No, I'm very interested in this story. And also it's
you just interrupt if you're like, oh, she's really gone
No. I mean, I think it's like, even it's like something I had in the notes is like, I think a lot of your, like approach to creative direction and stuff has always been this like pairing of like things that are like highbrow and lowbrow.
Oh yeah. It's very like a high-low thing. That I've always been obsessed with and always will be obsessed with. Yeah. And I think like, so with Vroom Vroom, I think in a way it is a little bit that like there is some real like conflict in that song in terms of like the way that things sound, you know, there's this like very sweet sort of like kind of sugary nursery rhyme like chorus with that really kind of like hard like verse production. And I remember when we made that song, it was just like I had this sense of like, oh my God, I've found my person, like I found what I was looking for. And it was a really it was like, I don't know, it was a wild moment.
And I feel like when you like go back through your discography, you kind of feel like Vroom Vroom is the start, like you kind of birthing what becomes really your sound. Like I always felt like Vroom Vroom into like Pop 2, into like How I'm Feeling Now, into Brat was like, you know what I mean? Like there's like a clear sort of like the pieces of the puzzle are coming together with those bodies of work.
You're so right. And I think, you know, especially with Alex and I, we were really growing as musicians, as writers, as curators, I suppose, like whilst we were going through that journey together, because we worked on pretty much, all of the music that you just mentioned. Yeah. We were working on together, you know, maybe like whole records or at points like bits, but like pretty much, you know, and like, I think we developed our kind of confidence together. Yeah. And actually there is a song on this new album that is actually like all about Alex.
Really?
Yeah, it's very sweet. It's just about it's like a love song in a way, but it's, you know, it's a love song about my most long-term collaborator. Yeah.
I'm a big believer that there is such thing as like a creative soulmate.
Oh my God, 100%.
You know what I mean? 100%. Like something about it you meet and it's just like instantly like it fits and you don't know why or how, but
and we have that thing where we don't even need to talk about the things that we're making. We just know. It's like we inherently know where we're going. Right. And the thing that I feel so lucky about with Alex, and I feel it with Finn, my other collaborator, and I felt with Sophie, is there's no embarrassment. Yeah. Like there's, you know, you can come with the most batshit idea and it's like there isn't, we've worked so much together now that there isn't that sort of like hurdle of like, oh my God, I'm going to say this thing and it might just like completely bomb. It's like, we just say it and it's like, we feel totally fine to be like, oh, that's really terrible. And then we move, we're very quick, we're moving fast. Like Alex is so fast. I like to work really fast and we have this sort of like pace and energy that I think is like captured in the songs that we make together.
Definitely.
And yeah, it's this sort of unspoken language. So it was when I was writing this song about Alex, it was really nice. And I played it to my friend Aidan not so long ago. And he was like, he said this thing that made me cry actually, where he was like, wow, how nice that you've actually like been able to tell him this while you still can.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was like very emotional because I wasn't able to do that with Sophie.
Right.
So,
but
yeah.
you know, she's so fucking proud of you.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. Yeah.
I know so.
Yeah.
I know so.
Yeah.
But how did that conversation go of like, or lack of conversation as you described, like when going from, brat to rock music and what this album was going to be? Like,
you mean the song or
I was referring to the song, but also the genre,
well,
I guess.
genre, just to like put it out here, like clear as day, I'll look into the camera. The album is not a rock album. Like that is a phrase that I never said. I never said it. You can read the text, like whatever. Like I'm just, it's like people will hear it, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who are like, it's not a rock album. It's like, yeah, it's not. It's not. You're so right.
Yeah, but okay, if it's not a rock album, then what is it?
Well, it's a Charli XCX album. Like, I don't know. It's like it's me. It's pop. Like for sure. It's like it's pop, but we're exploring. I don't know, like more sort of analog elements, I suppose. Like Alex is playing drums on like a few of the songs. It's like we were working at like a sort of funnily like analog studio in Paris, like which is sort of funny for us because I think people associate sort of electronic elements so like deeply with the things that I do and that Alex
big
and I do
production,
together.
loud music.
But actually, it's like we have explored this world in slight ways before. I just think it hasn't been explicitly like a talking point.
Yeah.
But I mean, Alex has made like a lot of guitar music.
Yeah.
And like it's just his take on it, and I think that's the thing. It's like with me, it's always going to be like my take on something. And I know that will like piss people off always, but it's like, that's interesting to me, like to kind of take something and like reinterpret it in a way that I feel like only I could or, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, the jump from brat to music, fashion, film, I suppose it's like, as I said, working in response to brat.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that there's this whole thing of, when you make a record that connects with people in the way that Brat did, like that, I think for me, that album, it's like the most...
It was culture.
Listeners I've had.
Yeah, and it was...
engaging with...
It was this thing that like everyone felt that they were a part of.
Right.
And it was also this, I think, like symbol of... adhering to a vision and watching that pay off for someone.
Yeah, totally. And it was, so all of those things that you just said, I think it's like, there is obviously this whole conversation about like, well, you should like ride that train.
Yeah.
You should like do that again. You should make another record that sort of plays into some of the sonic elements that people are now familiar with you and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And like, I have no interest in doing that. Like, and you know what? Yeah. It's like, maybe...
Why don't you have interest in doing that now?
Because it's not inspiring to me. Like, this is the thing. If I woke up one morning when I was working on this album and was like, I actually really, in my soul, feel that I want to make like a club track. Yeah. I would do it.
Right.
Like, because that's what I always have to do when I'm making anything. I have to just follow my like inner voice, so to speak. You know, if that's what my inner voice is saying, I'm doing it, But for me, it's like, that's not what it was saying. Like,
what was it saying?
I think it was just like, I have to, it's so tricky. It's like, okay, when you like think of a thought and you like say it out loud, it's like, you're not really like, you don't really know like what you're going to say. But do you know what I mean?
Kind of. I don't know.
When you're having a conversation, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't count because it's an interview and you've prepped for it. But when you're having a conversation with your friends, or when you're maybe even like writing the questions for this interview, it's like, the thought comes to you.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know where it came from. It just comes.
Right.
And then you say it, or you write it down, and then it becomes like the reality of like what you've said. And that is how I make music. It's like, I don't know always where the idea comes from. Sometimes it's just like planted in my brain somehow. Yeah. And then I say it and I follow it. And I guess that's like being inspired or whatever. It's like sometimes I have nothing and I'm just like sat in my house looking at a wall. I'm like, I got nothing. But then sometimes it's like, oh shit, this thing, it's just come to me. I'm gonna explain it out loud. I'm gonna tell Alex, or I'm gonna just like make it on my own, and I'm gonna like follow that. And I think for me, it was like almost like a natural like rebellion against some of the rules, let's say, that were I was
what
like,
you
kind of
should
following
do
for Brat.
after that album.
It's like it was just, I don't know if that makes sense. It's like,
no, totally.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, well, we should go to Europe. That was like a big thing. It was like, we should go to Europe to make this album because we made a lot of Brat here. So like, let's just go there immediately. It feels like
I'm also
different.
a big believer that like you have to do if you want new creative outputs, you have to do new creative inputs.
Yeah,
like
sure.
even just in like being in a different location, writing in a different place, like like you can't expect new ideas to come if you're going to a place that's like built off old ideas.
Yeah, but sure. That totally makes sense. And I don't know, I think as well, it was kind of like, just like wanting to avoid certain sonic choices, like, okay, we're not going to use like razor bass on this record. Yeah. Like we're gonna explore like starting songs with guitar riffs rather than, in Logic or whatever. And then, I don't know, like approaching the songwriting sort of differently through this kind of lens of talking about, I don't know, like the process of making things. And actually, you know what I think Brat taught me, which was a big fuel for this record, was like, it made me think about why I love doing what I do. Yeah. And how thankful I am to be able to do what I do. And that was a big fuel for this album. Like I felt so grateful after the success of Brat. Yeah. And I never thought I would be in that position. As you said at the beginning of this, I'm like the opposite of an overnight success story. Like I was very at peace with like where I was and what I was doing. And when I made Brat, and I've spoken about this a lot, I really just thought like, okay,
it was over.
I'm going to be dropped, but I'm doing this as like, this is just inherently like what I want to make. Yeah. And it didn't go that way, but like, and I'm very, it's cool that it didn't. I'm very grateful for that. But like, that made me be like, wow, like I'm so fortunate to be able to do this at the scale that I do it. And I realized, I mean, I've known this for a long time, but my whole life and my existence is so tied to the work that I do, possibly in a kind of unhealthy way. Yeah. Like it is my being. It is my everything. And I know some people will find that really pretentious and annoying.
No, it's part of being an artist.
It's everything to me. It's I would like live and die by the art that I make. And I feel so passionately about that.
Hell yeah.
Because I've done things in the past where I haven't felt that way. Right. And I know how shit and rubbish that makes me feel. Right. And so I've really now it's like, it is my passion. It is my everything. Like without being able to make things, like I don't know who I would be. I would lose like a huge like
it's your identity
to my core. It is my identity. Yeah. And it's really serious for me. It's like really, really serious. But at the same time, it's where I have my most joyous moments. It's where I have the most fun. It's where I feel most free. And I think I realized all of that after Brat in a way that I definitely thought of before, but hadn't felt as like palpable and in such a palpable
and
way.
I'm sure that there's some element of like confidence that came after that.
Of course.
Like, you know, of like, this is what I can do.
Yeah.
And at least for my like outside perception of music, fashion, film so far, is it to me feels this like this beautiful like reclamation of identity. You know, it's about the art that made the artist.
Yeah. Yes, that's a really good way of putting it.
You know,
it is. And also all of the conflict that comes with that, because I would say whilst there are songs on the record that are extremely positive.
Yeah.
There are also songs where, you know, it's like being an artist is really volatile, you know, and I think I've been very, very honest about how volatile I am as a person.
Yeah.
And
that's what the moment's about.
Well, yes. And yeah, so like, I think this album goes into those feelings a lot, and how really it's like a kind of this sounds so cheesy, but for me it's like art at all costs. Like, even though it's like, you know, it's selfish, and it's can sometimes be really difficult to coexist with someone who thinks that way. Like, that is just what it is for me.
Right.
And I'll probably like cause people hurt and pain, but also
you're
hopefully
not going to cause people hurt and pain.
No. But I mean, in my life,
okay.
And I'm not talking about,
got it.
You know, listeners. Like, in my life, like it's hard to be with someone, coexist with someone, like be a friend of someone who sometimes feels that way. But it is what I feel, and I'm like working on it. But it's like, it's. I mean, Michaela knows; she's smiling in the background.
And I know a little bit as well.
You know, babe.
I know a little bit as well.
No, well, we can go into that if you want. I really don't mind. But
I if you want to talk about it, we can. The one day I woke up to 43 DM notifications from Charli XCX, 43 at like 7 a.m. in the morning. And including but not limited to screenshots of text conversations going back to 2023 talking about the marketing and creative direction of Brat, which was in some ways,
oh my gosh,
the most terrifying experience of my life, but also so fucking cool.
I had to lay it out for you. I had to lay it out for you because the evidence was all there, and I was, I don't know. There's been a lot of like misinterpretations of me as a person, as there always is, you know. It's like that's part of like the reality of like, you know, putting work into the world on like a kind of public level. Like, I'm not an idiot, like, I know, you know. But I think because I know you and I know your work, and I know that you are very smart about how you interpret artists and what they do. You are like, you really get it. You really get it.
I try.
And I was just like, maybe let me help him along here a little bit because he's got a few things wrong. So then I sent you all the screenshots, and I was like, baby, like, listen up. This is how it went down.
You set me straight. You set me straight. And also like, that's also like meaningful to me, like as like a, like journalist or whatever. Like I think so much of like music discussion has become a repackage of like what 90s magazine tabloids used to be. Yeah. So it is like not like, I appreciated it because I don't want to be wrong. Like, I want to be a source that is like credible to people and to artists like you know what I mean?
43 messages is at 7 a.m. is a bit crazy though. At
the beginning, I thought it was spam.
Really?
I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah, no, I was sending you texts. I was sending you
the archives, babe. Everything.
You got it all.
I got it all. I got it all. But it was beautiful. Again, I got a window into you that no one else will get.
I just, you know, why I get so why I got so mad is I think we do live in this world where people are really like not willing to believe that like women have brains and can actually like do things for themselves, especially when a woman becomes successful. And I know that you don't think that, by the way, but I think it's like I think I've seen it so much. People are so ready to be like, yeah, but like who actually was behind that thing that like XYZ did?
Yeah.
Like, but you know, did she really come? And it's like, hey, what if we did?
What if it was my idea?
What if we fucking did, guys? How about that? How about that? What if we just woke up, we used our little brains and we were like, yeah, this is the thing I'm going to do. And then we put it into fucking action. How about that?
And you did.
For a genius idea.
And you did.
And it's not just me. I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about so many artists, so many female artists who have had like careers that are illustrious and long, and they're at the top of their game, and people are still willing to be like, yeah, but did she really write that song? It's like, yes, she fucking did. She fucking wrote the damn song.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, yeah, it's like, especially when there's a success that people deem as like overnight, which I think some people, because they weren't familiar with me before Brat, you know, felt that.
Yeah.
They're really ready to be like, oh yeah, but like, what were the sort of things that like all these other people helped her with, and like she doesn't really know about XYZ.
Right.
Like she's a pop star, she can't know about like, you know, the history of art or culture in any way, like,
which is, but also anybody who has that take is so clearly not paying attention. That's also like, you know what I mean? Because it's so evident. If you look this much at any of your work, it's so clear.
Sure. And I will say, it's like, I really do go through phases with that. Like sometimes I'm like really at peace with being misinterpreted, like, because it comes with the territory, you know? So I'm just like, nah, fine. But on my like lowest days, which I guess was 7 a.m. that morning, I was like, I'm not going to stand for this. So yeah, but I also like maybe like 1 hour later, I text Michaela and I was like, I did something really bad.
Aww.
And I was like, I feel so bad.
No, it was so okay. Yeah, and now we're working it out on the remix. Yes. Like literally we're working it out on this is the closest I can get to that. You know what I mean? So like that's the beauty of it all. And but I want to talk about some interesting takes you've had with this album that have come out so far.
Yeah, sure.
In the SS26, you say, I think my politics could work as a press strategy and my heritage could give me quite the USP.
Yeah.
You've never really talked about your like half Indian side in your music.
Yeah.
Where does that line come from?
It's because nobody asks me.
Really?
Really. No one really, like, when people ask me, I talk about it. But I think, like, you know, for me, it's like, I don't know, like, I feel like there is this world where, like, I could really, like, play that up a lot.
And some artists do. And
I just, it's like, doesn't come natural to me. Mm-hmm. Probably because of the way that I, you know, engage with being a mixed person. You know, it's like you don't, especially when I was younger, like I didn't really feel like I belonged in either.
Yeah, like you're always not enough to either side.
Yeah, of my family. Like, you know, when I was like hanging out like every weekend with the Indian side of my family, I would feel kind of like the outsider there. Mm-hmm. And then when I was like, you know, at school with like a bunch of white girls, I would feel like the outsider there.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult to place yourself in a way and to kind of understand your identity. And I a lot of my friends who are mixed also like feel that same way.
Yeah.
It's hard to feel like you can like really claim something. But I am really happy to talk about that. But the line in the song, it's sort of about how, it's funny, I think everybody thinks that song is about like
the end of the world
or something, or the state of the world.
Right.
And it's actually not, like that's not at all what song is about. It is kind of about persona in a way. It's about how I think now more than ever, we as in all of us, anyone who is kind of like on the internet, not even necessarily like putting out music or work in any kind of a way, but just if you're on the internet, there is this sort of like level of persona, this level of like feeling
Character
like
crafting.
you need to be like on the right side of every single conversation and not get things wrong and apologize for things, how big or small, that you've done, to ultimately lead you towards some kind of moral sanctuary that will still actually not ever be enough.
Yes, there is this like obsession with like purity and punishment.
Yes, exactly.
It's like you can't just be good, you have to be the right type of good in a specific way, and if not, you are a bad person and you actually had a sinister motive this entire time.
Yeah. And so the song is actually kind of talking about like my experience with that and talking about like all of the sort of things that I could maybe like utilize to help me be more morally pure, which would be, you know, like stop like smoking cigarettes, do notes app apologies for things that I've done, claim my Indian heritage more, etc., and like then hopefully like lead myself into like a place that's like where I'm more like appealing. And I think people on the internet, no matter who you are, there is like an element of that, like an element of fear to get it wrong, and also like an element of these things of music, fashion and film. They used to be this sort of place where actually people could escape and have an opinion and feel safe and talk about things in like a non-heated way. And now actually like those places more than ever feel like this
politicized.
And very it's like kind of every opinion comes with heat, you know? Obviously that is more specific to Twitter than anywhere else, but you know, it's
Twitter's
true.
She's gone through a dark turn as of late. So
you know, I think that's actually what the song is about. It's about figuring out like how much you want to kind of lean into that versus not, you know, rather than me being like kind of trying to like fix the world. Like that's not what the song is about. Right.
Speaking of things that like come with heat.
Do
you actually think the dance floor is dead?
Babe. No, I don't. And again, it's like that lyric from that song is about my relationship with Brat. You know, for me, it's like, you know, I've made like electronic leaning music
over a decade. It feels.
You know, that's shaped who I am as an artist. It's kind of about like my pivot from that, like as an artist who doesn't want to continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, more, it's like a personal.
I'm putting away this part of myself.
It's like a personal comment on like the fact that I was doing that. I was doing like Boiler Room in New York and going to Ibiza and doing it with the Dare and with George and with whoever else, and then like doing the kind of shows that were very sort of like party girl rave. It's like, and then also like going out all the time. Like I was out all the time. I was partying all the time in not a great way all the time. You know, it's like, it was like, it's me kind of like closing the chapter on that. I mean, look, my husband runs a dance music label and he's DJing like every other week. And I've
seen him DJ.
And I'm going and like, I'm there in the corner like,
but I want to ask you about the album cover. Because this is like the coolest fucking album cover I've ever seen.
Thank you.
And what do each of these three people mean to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So obviously, like John is somebody who I have worked with before in the past, and I've been a huge fan of obviously the Velvet Underground. Like I've spoken a lot about that. I've been a huge fan of his solo work, his work with Brian Eno, his work with John Cage. Like he was really doing some like super progressive things with the music that he was making back in the 60s. You know, it was like he was flipping the form in a way that was really new and unique. And he means a lot to me personally as a musician who's done that.
Right.
And obviously to get to work with him was just like such a huge thing.
Yeah.
And now knowing him, I'm like, wow, like he's so prolific. He's working all the time. He's always making something. He's always doing a show. He's impossible to pin down because he's like, sorry, I'm like in the studio with da da da. I'm like, oh my God, wow.
So are you. The way you feel about
I'm
him.
not 83, babe. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is
and
like.
you think that at 83 you won't be like that?
I don't know.
I think you will.
We'll see. Maybe we'll be doing this. At 83,
it's right from the retirement home.
Yeah. So, John, for me, he's a big part of like, I don't know, he kind of mirrors how I feel about music and the way that he engages with music. Like, I feel in ways like there's similarities there.
Right.
With Mark, I think Mark has always been somebody who speaks to youth culture. Mm-hmm. He understands how to communicate fashion in a very kind of rebellious way. Like when he did his grunge collection in, I think it was like 92 for this designer Perry Ellis, like he made this grunge collection that was like at the time like really, really, really controversial.
Yeah.
And he got fired because of it.
Wow. Because
it was sort of like completely not what the brand wanted. But he did it because that was his thing. And he lost his job and then went on to kind of do his own line.
Yeah.
And that defiance and like, you know, desire and need to stick to one's own vision is something that really speaks to me. And also I think, you know, like what he did with Heaven is really cool. It's like opening fashion.
You did a Heaven campaign also.
I did, baby. I mean,
fierce.
He gave me my first fashion campaign ever.
Really?
I've done three or four campaigns for him. Three campaigns for him now. Like he opened me up to that world for the first time, and when that world had not really been open to me before.
Right.
And I mean, Marty is like, I've been lucky enough to have like a few conversations with him.
Yeah.
Where we were just talking about film and, you know, his work and how he approaches his work. And honestly, like his knowledge of film is just encyclopedic. Like it's crazy. And that is something that's really, really inspiring to me. And his kind of mission in like restoration and like restoring these films, and it's just very inspiring. And I mean, he's also fucking Martin Scorsese. Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like, I think for me, it's like, I'm not proclaiming by any means that these people are the Trinity.
Right, they're
mine.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
everybody else has their own. And you know what? There are a million different versions of this album cover for me as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was only 3 spots. So, you know.
No, it's so
like,
cool.
And
also
so
it's
many.
like, so like no one else but you could get those 3 people in a room to take a picture.
I was sort of like, I was shocked that even I managed to do that. And it was down to the fucking wire.
Oh, I bet.
Let me tell you. We were like, is it going to happen? And also we had to have it happen because, you know, we had to like press the vinyl. It was like, we were down to the wire. It was like really scary. But when they all arrived in that room together, it was truly overwhelmingly emotional. Aww. It was really like, and you know, Aiden was shooting it and he's like my best friend.
Yeah.
He's obviously this kind of like, I mean, to me, he's not like up and coming anymore. To me, he's this like superstar photographer, director. Yeah. But you know, when you're in a room with those guys, it's like they've worked with with everyone.
Decades
with
of experience.
Everyone, you know? And so like to see him shooting them was really emotional and meaningful. And they were like impressed with us, and we were like, "Thank you." You know, it was like cool. It was really like just special and a moment I will probably never have again. And yeah, I don't know. It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah,
and very reflective actually of like what the album is kind of about as a whole.
Totally.
You know,
again, it's the art that made the artist.
Yeah.
To me, that's always like if I had to boil it down into a sentence,
you know,
how it's felt.
I'm gonna steal that.
Please do. So, please do. You know, you can hit me up anytime you need need some good things for press. I would love to know, like, how do you love acting? Like, how was that experience?
I really love the moments that I've gotten to act. I love it. And, you know, I think it's like, obviously there is something like inherently cringe about like being a musician who's like, I want to act. Like,
there's nothing cringe.
No,
So many people have done it.
Of course. But there is like there's like a bit of a like tension there that people don't want to like let that happen for you. And that's fine. That's like, they could like go off and do that. And like, I know like what it comes with, but like, yeah, I really love it. I really, really enjoy it. And I feel really lucky that I've gotten to, you know, do like a variety of different projects with a variety of different directors who all work in very different ways. And, you know, I definitely, my approach has been like wanting to do really like small roles.
Yeah.
Like,
do you have a dream role?
Oh my gosh. I think a dream role would probably be one I wrote for myself.
Cool.
You know, I think.
What type of character is she?
Well, I think she'd probably be like a difficult woman, really, wouldn't she? Do you know what I mean? Like that's sort of written in the stars. But yeah, I really, to be honest, like I'm really enjoying being on set because I really am enjoying learning.
Yes.
Like I'm enjoying learning from like other people who are far more experienced than me, whether that be cinematographers or directors or actors themselves. Like I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm like watching and I'm learning and I'm thinking about, you know, how I can sort of use that.
Right.
And
you get the feeling of like enjoying the process of creation without the pressure of like comparing yourself to all your past work and all the things that you've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get to enjoy being a novice.
Yeah. And also it's like, I'm not like, I don't know. And I feel this way a little bit with music now too, especially after Brat. I'm like, I don't have this like, it must be a success. Like, I'm just like, let me just like do the thing that feels inspiring to me because I love it. Even if I fall flat on my face, like it's not about like winning or like, I don't know, whatever. It's like, it's kind of never really been about that for me. It's about the taking part that counts. I don't know. It's about like,
it's about what you have to say.
Soul. I want to feed my soul and I want to follow these like threads that make me feel alive. And to be honest, like that, there's a song on the record that I know you've heard, which is kind of about that. And it's about this.
I think that's my favorite of the singles so far. I love it.
Okay, cool. It's called for those who don't know, which is everyone because it's not out yet. But yeah, it's about that feeling of just like this is just something that I'm drawn to exploring, this creative field that I'm drawn to exploring. And I just am gonna do it no matter what anyone else fucking thinks. And you know what's interesting? Like I did this thing where I was asking, I was answering questions for fans about like work and process and things like that. And I would say like the number one question that was asked was about how you have the confidence to go into a creative field or to put yourself out there creatively, because generally speaking, people were very worried about like failing or being embarrassed or getting it wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the main topic of conversation, like across the board. People were like, I really want to do this, but I'm scared to in case I suck.
What was your answer to that?
It's like, just go ahead and suck. Who fucking cares? It's your life.
Yeah.
It's your life. You get to live it in whatever way you want to live it. If you have this desire to go and do this thing, then do it. It doesn't have to be that, you know, your entire life is going to become about that thing. You might actually like try and do something creative and maybe you really don't enjoy it, or maybe you love it and you discover something else about yourself. Who cares if other people like it or don't like it?
I also believe that failure is a part of progress.
Oh my God.
Like people
1000%.
People view like you do something and it's like fail or succeed. And it's like, no, you fail until you succeed.
Yeah. And you even a failure, it's not even a real thing. It's like you learn so much about yourself as an artist or a person when things like that happen. It's like, I don't know. I think we live in this really like high pressure world where everybody's like, oh, you did this wrong. And they're like, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Ugh. Like, let people just live
and try.
And
like,
try.
What's wrong with, like, why are we so like judging people for trying new things?
It's so boring.
It is
to me. It's so boring. It's just like,
and it's rooted in insecurity. I truly believe.
Of course it is. And
like,
it's
how dare you try to better yourself?
Yeah,
weird.
Like, get out of here.
It's embarrassing.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can you fuck off? So it's just so annoying. Like, please fuck off. Like, why don't you go out and just like do something that makes you feel alive instead of like shitting on everybody else who's like just following their gut instinct,
right?
You know? And so anyways, like I felt really, it made me actually really sad when I saw so many people who were really eager to explore something, but were just so scared of what people would think of them. And that's that's like the world we live in. And it sucks. It fucking sucks because I don't know. It's like people are really afraid to be, thought of as doing something wrong or seen trying or, so anyways.
I don't know. I have many weird theories about this. Like, I think so much of it has to do with like the phone and the internet.
Yeah.
And this idea of like I don't even think it's so weird that like, you know, if I was trying to cook something and I looked up a recipe, I would only see it in its most perfect form from a professional chef. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to see like the thousands of attempts that they took to like get it. Like we live in this world where like you only see the finished product.
Yes.
And you are comparing your first attempt to the finished product all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just not how like creation works in any way.
Not at all. And that's why I've been really interested in talking about process with this album because and that's why I've been like interested in, for example, like the B-sides thing that I've been doing. Like, you know, the songs that I'm putting on there are not songs that are on the album.
Yeah, you secretly dropped like 2 music videos on B-sides.
I did, yes. And I wanted to do that because it's like those songs are like adjacent to the world and a part of the process, but they're not going to be on the album, but they're still part of the journey to get to the record. And there are so many songs like that when you're writing an album, generally speaking. You know, it's like you like make starts, you try, you fail, you are like, oh my God, that's the worst song I've ever written. It's like it all sort of like helps build out the thing that you are finally getting to. And those songs are really important, but sometimes don't get a life of their own.
Right.
And so that's why I wanted to put like a couple.
That's cool. And I think it's like reflective of like, again, like what you said, the thesis of the album is like, this was part of the process. Yeah. They're not part of the album, but they were a part of the story to get to what the album was.
Exactly.
Tell me about Wink Wink.
Wink Wink is Wink Wink's funny. Wink Wink, I suppose, in a way, is another song about persona. In that, you know, it's kind of like about playing into the kind of these things that people sort of think that you are, and then kind of being like, but I'm not that anymore. And then it's like, well, wait, are you? It's like, you know, it's like, I think there are, as I was saying earlier, there are these boxes that people want to put you in. And this is me sort of like dancing around in that box.
And satirizing the box itself.
I suppose.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was one of the really early songs that we made for the album, actually. It was, I think, kind of maybe the first.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it was the first. It was one of the ones that we didn't start in Paris. We started it in London and then we finished it in Paris. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I think for me, it's very like visually rich and silly and cute. And it reminds me of like a teen movie in a way.
I totally agree. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Like Freaky Friday transition while she's like getting dressed, but in a way that's so fun. You know what I mean? Like, I love music that like can like transport you to a time and feeling in your life. Yeah. And that, I also think does that really well.
Oh,
like it
has transport you.
It transports me to, have you seen Perks of Being a Wallflower?
You know what? I haven't. The Brat Green film. Everyone's
we
like,
have homework.
I haven't. It's currently on Netflix, and I keep
coming from Miss Letterbox herself.
I haven't seen it. I'm so sorry.
I need a TikTok video soon of your review of Perks of Being a Wallflower. Okay. You have homework
when this comes. It's Emma Watson, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a scene where they're driving through this tunnel, and she gets out the roof of the car.
Okay.
And she just like feels the wind.
She feels herself. Okay.
She's just so free, and like it's it's like this beautiful moment of youth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's it's like one of those scenes, you know, there's just random scenes from movies that like stick in your head.
Totally. Okay, I promise you I will watch it. It's been there.
I think you're going to love it.
It's been there on my list for a really long time. I just haven't gotten to it. There's a lot of movies on the list. You know
There's a lot of movies on the list.
You know what I mean?
You're watching them.
I'll never watch them all, is the truth.
Yeah.
You know, how can we?
How can anyone? One last question that I didn't get to ask you earlier, but it's like something I would really love to pick your brain about.
Sure.
Do you think marketing is an art form?
Yeah.
I think it is too.
Yes. Well, interesting. Yes and no.
Okay. What's the yes? What's the no?
No, you know what? Yes, I do. I think obviously it has to come along with art.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I think, there are so many stories to be told through marketing. And the thing that I'm really interested in is I think we're actually sort of like heading into this world of like anti-marketing now, which I'm really looking forward to. I think we've been so saturated with these really like bombastic, like over the top campaigns, like in-person events. Like, you know, it's really been about like engagement and kind of
views and big and scale and
public events, like pop-ups and and like really kind of making music feel like three-dimensional in every single outlet that you can possibly have, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
But I also think it's done. Like I think it's
the pendulum swinging back.
Yeah, I think it's early still, but I think it's going that way. I mean, I think, you know, the fact that like Phoebe Bridges did No Phones, that's like a really big like signifier of that.
Yeah.
You know? I think it's going back to a more personal experience with the art and the artist.
Totally.
I think it's, like I said, I think it's still really early, but I think it's going to come, and it's probably going to come like mid next year in a more like real way.
Mainstream way, yeah.
You know, but I think it's coming. I think like record labels kind of got a little bit too excited about like the idea of like a public fan event.
Yeah.
And so I think it's like those things now, whilst they're still really fun, I think they feel very familiar to an audience, even if they're not quite registering that yet. It's like, it feels like a familiar thing that we know. It's like we understand that language now in a way that feels less shocking and exciting.
Yeah, and every time there's diminished returns of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, you know, when Phoebe is like, I'm playing MSG and there's no phones, that's shocking.
Totally.
Now, rather than whatever the opposite version, rather than like
that's such a good
the brat
take.
wall.
That's such a good
not
take.
very like shocking
and
anymore.
I think also people really resonate with this almost like fly on the wall experience. Like I loved what you did with like the BTS of the music videos for this album, Lithovic. Like they're so good, and even just like I've seen videos of just like you're just like throwing the TV out the window from the music video, and it's like it feels like you're there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like, and then it's done, and I'm like, well, what else? Like, what is it? You know, like I think like people think great marketing is about conversions, and I think it's more so about like curiosity.
Yeah.
Like, can you make the viewer? Can you manipulate the demand and feeling that
You're
they have?
so right. It's about curiosity and it's about desire.
Yeah.
I think is the main thing, and I think with all the things that I was just talking about, I feel, to me, it feels very sort of like 2024 marketing stuff.
Yeah.
It's like that in a way has lost an element of its like edge and desire because it's just becoming familiar because it worked. And so
it's
now
the death of
people
cool.
want to stop. You get me in trouble. Don't you have me writing on Substack.
I knew you.
Jesus Christ.
Jump scare you.
Scary. I guess I can't spell apparently. Oops.
Well,
but,
Charli,
sorry.
it was the greatest honor
and
privilege. Hey, I would go with you for hours.
It
seems that you have places to be.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, thank you for doing this.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me.
Like there are so many like you've talked about, you know, believing in the niche and fandom, and so many artists love to say that shit and never do it. And like I'm gonna show my kids this. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's how meaningful it is to me.
Nicky.
And I'm so fucking excited for the album. I'm excited to see you on tour. And I sincerely hope this is not the last time you and I cross paths.
It won't be. I feel it in my bones.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.